So YouTube, man, it's your boy Ashton Jackson, and in today's video I'm going to be going over my second edition of my mock draft, my 3-round mock draft in which I did involve trades. And the reason why I did trade was because we do have a lot of needs for the Dallas Cowboys, and with us only having 3 picks in the top 100, I needed to fix that in this simulator. So before we hop into the video, I appreciate if you guys would like the video. Subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content, man. Oh, really hopping straight into it. Like I said, with us only having 3 picks in the top 100, um, that is very tough for a team that was supposed to go all in. And my definition of all in was to have a really good draft, participate in free agency, not go after all the big name free agents, but meet somewhere in the middle where you had some needs out, like defensive tackle, bringing back Jonathan Hankins, getting a Grover Stewart from the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe not getting a Devin White, even though he was on a cheap deal, or getting a Patrick Queen, who got a really solid deal. Maybe meeting in the middle, going to get a Blake Cashman, or going to get a Josie Jewell. You know, since we didn't do any of that in free agency, and there's a lot of great free agency still left that are available, like Justin Simmons at the free safety position, off the top of my memory right now. There's some solid receivers in the free agency pool that if we want to bring in to replace Michael Gallup, if we can't find his replacement in the draft, I'm fine with getting a guy like OBJ as your wide receiver 3, and I expect him to be your wide receiver 2. Things of that nature. So right now I'm going to be talking about the draft, and right now I'm showing an image of how the draft went out, right? And I'm doing it off of the Pro Football Network. So it was a little bit wacky in my opinion. I don't know if the simulator was um, factoring in that some front offices don't know how to draft, so I don't know if they're taking that into account or what, right? Because if you look at the first 3 picks, Caleb Williams, okay, that's solid. Drake May, okay, I can see that happening, but the third pick, and you have the Patriots taking off at the tackle. I don't see them doing that, especially with them trading away Mac Jones, and I believe the best quarterback on their roster right now might be um, Bailey Zappi, I think, but they're not going to be solid with him going into that room. So again, and the reason why I only brought that up is because there were some odd picks and some really good players that I don't see normally in other mock drafts that were available to me. So originally, as you guys already know, and if you're looking at the 24th pick and the 32nd pick, you're like, hey, the Dallas Cowboys didn't go to the Super Bowl, right? They didn't. But I made a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, and there were one of two teams that were wanting to trade with me that had a reasonable compensation to move for me to move from that positioning of 24. First, it was the Cincinnati Bengals. They were crazy. They wanted to uh, give me their second round pick for next year in 2025. They wanted to give up their second round pick, and I believe either a third round pick or a fourth round pick, um, for us to move from 24th and go back down really into the middle of this second round. Because as you tell right here, they're picking 18th and the draft in the first round. So that means we'll be moving. If you're the Dallas Cowboys, you'll be moving back. Um, you'll be moving back down to the second round, and you'll be picking in the middle of the second round. And by at that time, you would have missed 50 prospects without even drafting one. So I wasn't going to do that. It was unrealistic for the Dallas Cowboys to even move out of the first round. The second team that had a little bit more common sense was the Kansas City Chiefs. They were offering their 32nd pick and then also their third round pick, which was pick 95. That pick as well, but the reason why I wanted to trade was because there was a lot of prospects I did still like on the board. Like I said, Talisi Fuaga in real life probably won't make it to 24, but if he does, you can definitely do see teams wanting to trade up for him because he's a really great right tackle and he did play in the University of Oregon State. So he's a really great run blocker, solid, really good in pass protection. He's a really great all-around tackle, and I can definitely see why the Kansas City Chiefs traded up with him. But I missed out on prospects like Tyler Guyton. I'm not really too big of a Tyler Guyton fan, so I wasn't really tripping about moving off of him or getting away from him. Jackson Powers Johnson was very tough moving on from having a very elite center like that with Jackson Powers Johnson, but I didn't feel like picking him up just because, like I said, doing something new. I still got the center I wanted to in Graham Barton, but I'm just giving you guys my thought process. Johnny Newton from Illinois, really great defensive tackle. You had Adonai Mitchell go to the Bills. You had Chop Robinson go to the Lions. You had Keon Coleman, a really great wide receiver, go to the not Kansas City Chiefs, but the Baltimore Ravens. Cooper DeJean went to the San Francisco 49ers, and then you had us who drafted Graham Barton. That's an interior offensive lineman. He for the Dallas Cowboys, this would be a really great pick just for the simple fact that he brings position flexibility. He can play within all five positions of the offensive line, both guard positions, both tackle positions, and they're saying really with his framework, with him being 6'5", he doesn't really provide long arms or a long wingspan. So they're saying that with him having short arms, he really can't play the left tackle position because when you're playing a lot of long arm dudes like Garrett, Bosa, um, TJ Watt, some of the guys you're going to see next year, Aiden Hutchinson, it's going to be tough for guys like Graham Barton to face him on an island because he doesn't have a long wingspan, which is fine in my opinion. But again, I do view him like a lot of others do as an interior offensive lineman. I'm going to put him at my center position. I'm going to kick out Tyler Smith at left tackle. Left guard will probably be T.J. Bass. Or if the Dallas Cowboys in real life can pick up maybe a fourth round pick when they're trading back, um, they can potentially scoop up fourth round pick if they wanted to and pair up and maybe draft a guard, and you don't have to really rely on Bass. So however they want to do it, they can. But like I said, I really needed a center that can be in the forefront of this offensive line that's going to be able to bring attitude. This isn't a guy that's has any of the issues that we had with Tyler Biotish. Graham Barton, you don't have to worry about that with him. Elite strength. He can get to the second level. He's a very athletic. He was able to get to second level with ease. He's athletic. Like I said, with Graham Barton, some of his accomplishments, he was a multi-year All ACC performer. His height is 6'5". He weighs 313 pounds. His hands are 9 and 3/8. Base blocker with range, energy, power, and gnawing finish mentality. He's strong. He's really smart as well. He knows when to pick up blitzes or anything of that nature. Strength, so once he puts his hand on you, you're not going anywhere. He can process, like I already said, he had really smart up here. He's a really great IQ player. He can process stunts and blitzes and pass protection and has a good run game angle IQ as well. And he does have experience at center, so I think that's where he's going to play for the Dallas Cowboys. Enough talking about Graham Barton. I really love the prospect. I don't think there's really too much in which I have to talk about with him. I think he's going to transition well to the next level. In our second round pick, I picked Peyton Wilson. Again, like I was talking about with this Pro Football Network, this draft, this simulator was a little bit wacky because, like I said, I do think they were taking into account that some front offices just view players higher than others. So Peyton Wilson was available to you in the second round, and if Peyton Wilson is there in the second round, you don't even think about it. You run up straight to the podium, you turn in that card, and you pick Peyton Wilson. He's a 6'3", 6'4" linebacker. Great, explosive, sideline-to-side linebacker, a true sideline-to-side linebacker, meaning he can be on one hash and the ball carries on the opposite side of the hash because he cut back on him or whatever the case might be. Peyton Wilson can track him down. He has great speed. He ran a 4.44 in the draft. That's a really great linebacker. He can get interceptions. He can force fumbles. He's just a straight playmaker. He can pass rush if he needs to. Through like A gap or B gap blitzes off the edge. If you're going to send him, if you want to put him in a slot, because he has that flexibility where he can cover your slot receiver, he can cover your tight ends. Because again, you're going to need a linebacker like this in today's game. He is your true 2024 linebacker that can keep up with those slot receivers. It can keep up with those tight ends. Again, the tight end position is evolving even more. They've already been intricate parts to the offense, and guys like Kelsey. Antonio Gates, those guys have transformed the game where, tight ends are being viewed as another receiver into these offenses, right? So Peyton Wilson keep up with a guy you're going to have to see this year with the San Francisco 49ers with George Kittle. You're going to have to see him twice, potentially if you make the playoffs and even advance in the playoffs. you're going to have to see the Niners. You're going to have to see George Kittle. You're going to need somebody who can guard him. Um, Travis Kelsey, if we do play him in the regular season, we draw him up in the regular season, you're going to have to see Travis Kelsey. Sam Laporta, for sure, you're going to have to see him in the playoffs. If the Falcons make the playoffs, you're going to see Kyle Pitts. Cade Otton from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you have a lot of great tight ends just in the NFC alone. And the AFC, you do play AFC North, so you're going to have to see Irv Smith Jr. from the Cincinnati Bengals, or if they draft a guy like Brock Bowers, if he's available at their selection. You're going to have to see Freiermuth from the uh, Steelers, or him, or Darnell Washington. Um, Mark Andrews. So you're going to have to see a lot of great tight ends going into next year. You need a guy like Peyton Wilson who can cover them. The only bad or negative parts about him is that he did have some injury issues. And again, this is right the Dallas Cowboys alley of them using their second round pick on a guy with high upside that has injury history. The Dallas Cowboys, don't be surprised if they spend a second round pick on a guy who had previous injury histories. Don't be surprised. Don't be upset. That's what they've been doing ever since they've been drafting. They just look at our previous history of the second round picks, and you take out DeMarcus Lawrence and Trayvon Diggs. You take away those two names out of the second round. Um, we haven't done anything with our second round picks. We've just been doing it on guys with high upside and guys who were knuckleheads off the field that we saw that we can had really great potential on the field, but if they fix their stuff off the field and you fix some of their nuance, because there are a lot of raw players in the second round that the Dallas Cowboys like to select. It's right up their alley to pick an injury guy. But Peyton Wilson had played 2 years, his junior and senior year, without getting injured at all. So he has 2 straight years of not getting injured, but you do play at risk the fact that he has had injuries before. So take that with a grain of salt. But like I said, you need a secondary playmaker to go with this defense. You have a playmaker in the secondary, two pick. I went first. I went to Dwayne Carter. He is a great defensive tackle that the Dallas Cowboys do need to pick up and pair next to Osa Odigizua. He weighs 303 pounds. He is 6'2". No, he's not your defensive tackle like you would like, where he's 6'4", 6'5", but he's a great person that can help in the run defense. But what he really does really well is he can pass rush from the middle of that defensive line. We need another pass rusher that can help out this defensive line group. He can also, like I said, help in the run defense game. He's a really raw player. There's some techniques and some stuff that he can go over. But like I said, with NFL offseason peanut butter and him getting into NFL coaches and him getting that proper technique, we're going to be fine with Dwayne Carter. He's a really, really great pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I really love this pick. This was one of my favorite day two picks. Other than Peyton Wilson, I really love picking up Dwayne Carter, and this was a really great pick by me. And not trying to showboat or anything like that or be too cocky, but seriously, this was a really great pick. Defensive tackle was in need. Like I said, from the previous traits I just said, he's a really great defensive tackle. We need him in this room, and pair him next to Osa Odigizua. He can help you stop in the run game, and he provides pass rush ability. So we need that to go with Micah and D-Law. My last third round pick that I got from the Kansas City Chiefs, I used that to select Marshawn Lloyd. My NFL comp for him when I was watching his film was a little bit of a DeAndre Swift. He is a 5'8". DeAndre Swift is probably around that height, 5'9", 5'8". Really great elusive back. When you're watching his film versus the U of A, University of Arizona, he had a lot of great times when he was leading with his blockers. He let his blockers develop run lanes, and it was real easy for him to make moves in and out of cuts easily. He has great contact balance. He's a really explosive, dynamic running back. Once he has a crease, he's gone. You're not going to be able to catch him from behind. Two, he's a really great pass catcher, and that's what we need in this offense. No, he isn't the back that you want. You know, leading. He can definitely use your running back room. He'll definitely be running back one when he gets here. But what I'm saying is, he don't treat him like Zeke, giving him 25, 30 rush attempts, and then also involving him in screen games, everything like that. He's a little bit of a liability in the pass game department. But like I said before, you're not really depending on your running back to play offensive lineman. That's what you got offensive lineman for, is to help protect your quarterback. So don't rely on Marshawn Lynch to be like what you thought Zeke was, and which Zeke was a really great pass blocker. So Marshawn Lynch is a really great shifty running back. He is a dual threat running back, so he can pass and he can run the ball really well. He has really great vision. The downside of him is that he fumbles the ball, and I do think that that can get fixed. Again, if anyone remembers Zeke, he had a little bit of a fumbling issue when he came into the league. He fixed that up. So I think Marshawn Lynch, same thing. He can fix up his fumbling issues, but he brings up way too much upside, and he's way too much of a dynamic running back just for me to pass up on. I really did like Will Shipley, who went a pick after me to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Corum was available, but he's around the same height as Marshawn Lloyd, but I like what Marshawn Lloyd brings in the pass game and in the run game as well. And I haven't seen too many times where they threw the ball to Blake Corum. He was that dynamic when he got the ball, when they threw the ball to him. So that's about it. Again, my four picks in which I feel like the Dallas Cowboys were to trade back. They need to, because again, we have a lot of needs, and I feel like the Dallas Cowboys went away in the draft with having their a starting center, another starting defensive tackle, a starting linebacker, and a starting running back. If your first four picks that you select in the draft can all start for you and all bring, offensive player of the year awards or defensive player of the year awards, or just forget the awards, if they just bring instant impact to you day one, you want in the draft. And if they're elite level playmakers, again, you want in the draft. So again, first round I went Graham Barton. He's gonna be your starting center. Second round I went Peyton Wilson. He's gonna be your starting linebacker next to Eric Kendricks, and him having a veteran like Eric Kendricks is gonna be tremendous. And having him with a guy like Max Zimmer is gonna be similar to that Anthony Barr type of frame, but Peyton Wilson is a little bit more dynamic than what Anthony Barr was coming out of UCLA. I went Dwayne Carter, another explosive defensive tackle that he can compare next to Osa Odigizua. He can help in the run game, and he's a really solid pass rusher, in which we do need to provide that in this defensive tackle room. And plus, we just need the bodies in the defensive tackle room. Then the last pick in the third round, I went Marshawn Lloyd. I think this is a really great running back. I think he's going to start for you. Again, he's a dual threat running back, can catch out of the backfield, and can run the ball in between the tackles. In between the tackles, outside of the tackles, really great pass catcher, soft hands, can make guys miss. He's a really great. If the ball doesn't even go to him and we're running a lot of RPOs or read options, he's a guy that will pick up a block, and he's not afraid to block if he needs to. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.